warm welcome to everybody. This is the latest podcast for the Hard Thing About Hard Launches. In our previous interaction, we had two fintech founders really talking about the fintech market. The unanimous sort of observation coming from that conversation really was that the fintech is not necessarily a winner takes all market. The market is so huge, there'll be niches and spaces for many, many players. Interestingly, we have a conversation today focused on the direct to consumer space. After the COVID 19 specifically, we have seen a huge spike in the direct to consumer space. And what really is direct to consumer? Talked simply, direct to consumer essentially means decentralization of the power which was vested with the likes of PNG or the Nestle or Hindustan Unilevers of the world. Now we have very smart and agile startup founders basically saying that here is the power of the internet, here is the power of social media, and I can sell to consumers directly. And hence the name direct to consumer comes by. We have very interesting ventures. We have somebody targeting the healthcare space, revolutionizing that and selling products online. And we have someone catering to the hospitality space. And interestingly, both the founders are Jains. So I think it's a Marwari club here, also a sort of a very, very entrepreneurial community coming from India. And let's try to understand from Vaibhav and Mohit on the highs and lows of their journey. And interestingly, where is the D2C market headed in this country? Vaibhav and Mohit, it's my sheer pleasure and privilege to sort of get you on this podcast. I'm really looking forward to this conversation and trying to understand the nuts and bolts of really building a large, well-established, and more importantly, a stable direct-to-consumer business. The word stable becomes extremely important, as you can totally imagine, especially in the startup ecosystem, because what is today perhaps does not exist 3 years hence. So it's very, very important to build an institution-like business. Let me begin with you, sort of Vaibhav. Uh, Give me sort of some background as to why this particular niche or sweet spot. And as you sort of take us through as our journey, I will also have Mohit also sort of weigh in. Yeah.
Sure. Well, thank you, Shrija, for for having us here. It's glad to be on a podcast where you bring up such an important topics, and people really look forward. These days the trends have changed. Now we don't listen to the playlist, but I think whenever we are traveling, we listen to the podcast. So glad to be one here. Hi guys, I'm Vaibhav Jain, and I'm founder of AayushBharat. What we do at Ayush Bharat and why we are doing is basically, in our country, we see there are more than 40-45% hospitalizations because of chronic healthcare conditions. Chronic conditions can be like asthmas or cardiacs or, even, sexual wellness and reproductive wellness as one of the key areas. So, and we, during the COVID time, we were all sitting together. I and all of my co-founders, we are all, school friends, and we all were have gone through in our lives where we've been benefited with Ayurveda and a couple of other areas. Like I myself had gouty arthritis, which when attacks, it takes 10-15 days, gives a lot of pain and all. But then I cured myself using Ayurveda, and similarly with the stories. So we thought there should be some space where people can discover a right Ayurvedic practitioners and order medicines and discover and order and they make an end-to-end journey. And that's how we started. If you talk about the highs and lows in a startup journey, I think on every given day we can have the highest high and we can have the lowest low. We can think of कि ये कुछ सही नहीं हो रहा है और रात को we can think of कि आज हमने पूरा we are on the cloud number 9. So for us, it happens, a couple of times when we launch our products, when we, engage new practitioners on a platform. So it's a journey where we have to keep our own mental state, balanced so that we can, continuously work and continuously strive for what we are doing. So instability is one of the most important factors. So in our healthcare space, trust and stability are the key areas. So we are working on that, trying to figure out ways how to establish ourselves in the industry where people like Patanjali's are also there, and new and old companies are all over there. So we're working on that, trying to figure out the areas.
Thanks for that, Vaibhav, and thanks for that candid revelation that every day Shrija is a high and low, and you
Yeah.
have to be in the state of self-doubt. And what you sort of mentioned that for a startup founder, the mental resilience becomes extremely important. And thanks for actually telling us that you yourself suffered and how you find the sort of the cure through your entire Ayurveda process. What about you, Mohit, in terms of the Kimrica fashion? Tell us about how really was the evolution. I mean, beginning from the B2B space to now targeting to sort of more consumer facing spaces. How really was the journey? Yeah.
So yeah, as Vaibhav mentioned, journey is always thrilling. You always feel it's great today, and you feel upset tomorrow morning that this should have not happened. And then some days you feel that it's blessing in disguise that it happened, and then you motivate yourself to run the show and keep running. So started 2013, bootstrapped, no money in hand. Finished my engineering and masters in marketing. Came back to India, and me and Rajat, my brother, was struggling to start something of our own because again a great coincidence. Apart from we both are Jains, my grandfather was a Ayurvedic doctor, Vedraj, and Rajat, his my brother, elder brother, is a bachelor's of pharmacy in Ayurveda from Jamnagar University, which was that time one of the only university in the world having
One
B
of the
Pharm.
best. Yeah.
Yeah. So Ayurveda runs in our blood also since almost 100 years because my grandfather's father was also chief medical advisor to the royal family of Pratapgarh, Rajasthan. But when we started, the time came for us to start something of our own. We were struggling because it was not a good financial uh, position for the family to do something. Dad had its own boutique Ayurvedic medicine business of making Chyawanprash and stuff. I've seen growing up at my place Chyawanprash and Thand ki mithai, Jape ke laddu and stuff. So my mom knows all the formulation because she assisted my grandfather. So वो था manufacturing was always a cup of tea for us. ऐसा लगता था कि यार manufacturing कुछ भी कर सकते हैं हम. Then started developing formulations for skin care. Thought कि इंडिया में स्किन केयर प्रोफेशनल रेंज में बहुत गैप है. 2012-13 में आप देखेंगे तो हेयर केयर की बहुत सारी ब्रांड्स होती थी, लॉरियल, वेला, श्वासपॉम, बट स्किन केयर में आपको प्रोफेशनल रेंज नहीं होती थी. तो started working on formulations. But then after 6 months, we realized that it will need a lot of high-end research and stuff, and retail would need a lot of money to run the business, and we don't have money. So why not we start selling to hotels? And idea उसके पहले तक कभी 5 स्टार में रुके भी नहीं थे. And my uncle gave Rajat a pass for Leela Hotel to stay for the first time. He came back and he told कि बॉस ये बॉटल वहां पर देखी थी और why not we can start selling to hotels one by one. थोड़े पैसे भी आएंगे, घर चलेगा, and फिर रिटेल तो कभी भी कर लेंगे. And then kept running. In 2017 became one of the country's largest manufacturers with almost a strength of 400 people working for us. 2017 did joint venture with a Canadian company, Hunter, who is the world's largest manufacturer. Today we are probably countries and probably in the entire nearby region we are one of the largest manufacturer with a team of 700 people working for us. Entire manufacturing happening in our own plant in Indore and exporting to 40 countries, supplying to almost 4,500 hotels from here. So yeah, it's a journey from being nowhere to now the largest player in the industry, and people, competitors still wonder that what went wrong with us that these two brothers came up and changed the game. And I say always that like वो कहते हैं ना कि हर successful आदमी के पीछे औरत का हाथ होता है. So I think it was a magic in the name. So Kimi is my wife and Rika is Rajat's wife. That's how the company name Kimirica. And you should watch. Actually, we just released the Kimirica story. So L the fashion house and Kiara Dwani, they released together the Kimirica story. So if you go on the website, you will see the Kimirica. So there are 7 episodes, and each episode talks about how we started and what's the vision of the company. So it's not a poor to rich story, but it's more of the company's vision. How coincidentally all co-founders coming from relevant background, Rika being a master's in pharmacy, Kimi being MBA in e-commerce, I'm a marketeer, Rajat being a perfumer and a pharmacist graduate, how all the co-founders play respective role in the company and drive the company by passion. So it's a story about that. So whenever you get time, it's a 20-minute total content, 7 episodes. So yeah, this is like journey summarized in 2-3 minutes. I can speak for 2-3 months on that, but yeah,
All
this
right.
is the
So yeah,
most crisp summary that I could give in this span of time.
No, no, absolutely. One can understand because there's so much that we have as entrepreneurs and founders. We can go on and on to speak with passion about our journey, but very, very interesting. I must say this. Mohit, tell me a little about the product market fit. Like you mentioned, that Shrija, there were a lot of trials and tribulations from your end till sort of you really struck that product market fit. You began with something and then you ended up with something else, right? And I really like that very heartfelt revelation that the family also went through sort of a financial crisis as to sort of where you are right now. Tell me one thing for a lot of startup founders right now who might be starting, say, this year or who have ventured this last year. Direct to consumer seems to be a very natural sort of option, right? Okay, let's start selling things on Instagram. A lot of women founders or male founders, they start with sort of selling t-shirts online or selling perfumes online and things like that. How does one decide that, okay, this is the time where I have got my product market fit right? What is that one signal about that business which tells you that, okay, now you have found your product market fit?
Correct. So I'll say this way: if first, like when I did my master's in marketing from Birmingham, England, there were two courses. One was master's in marketing. One was master's in marketing research. I took master's in marketing because I wanted a holistic view of marketing. 6 महीने हो गए रिसर्च ही पढ़ाए जा रहे हो, कंज्यूमर सर्वेज, क्वेश्चनेयर, सैम्पलिंग, प्राइमरी रिसर्च. तो मुझे लगा यार मैं गलत क्लास में तो नहीं बैठ रहा हूँ. 6 महीने से ये कोर्स तो मार्केटिंग है, कब पढ़ाएंगे बाकी की चीजें. सो इट वॉज 50% फोकस्ड ऑन मार्केटिंग रिसर्च रिसर्च रिसर्च. तो बोला था कि यार बकवास कर रहे हैं, बहुत थ्योरेटिकल है. द डे आई लैंडेड, जब व्हेन आई स्टार्टेड वर्किंग ऑन, ऑटोमेटिकली आई
it did.
स्टार्टेड वर्किंग. या सो आई स्टार्टेड वर्किंग फ्रॉम डे वन ऑन रिसर्च. जब हमने बात किया कि चलो हम ये बनाते हैं या सलोन के प्रोडक्ट बनाते हैं, सो फर्स्ट थिंग आई डिड इज ओपन माय जर्नल्स, ओपन माय केस स्टडीज, ओपन माय वाइट पेपर व्हिच आई स्टडीड देयर, बिकॉज मेरा डिसर्टेशन भी इस टॉपिक पर ही था यूके में, दैट टू लॉन्च स्किन केयर ब्रांड इन इंडिया. And then I realized that, oh my God, this is such real thing. And then I behaved like supplier, called hotels to know what they want to buy, behave like a hotel, called some suppliers to know what they are selling, and then was surprised to know that 90% of industry was importing products from China and UK and USA, which shook us that बस इंडिया में 30 साल से इतनी बड़ी बड़ी ब्रांड्स हैं, नाम नहीं ले सकता हूँ मैं पॉडकास्ट पे, बट बहुत बड़ी स्टेब्लिश ब्रांड्स हैं जो आप होटल्स में देखते हैं, ताजो प्रो है सब में. तो क्यों दे आर नॉट गेटिंग मैरिड टू international brands like Marriott, Hyatt, Hilton, Accor, and why it's limited to only couple of hotels. And then we found the answer that, okay, I think uh, these international brands are looking for international story, international quality, international compliance. They don't want a rose or a champa product in a luxury St. Regis or a Ritz Carlton. They want something which matches their brand DNA. And then we did B2B in a very B2C manner. So whenever we go for presentations, we were like puri table bhar jati thi products, and we did a very beautiful storyline about each collection that we have created. So I think to answer you specifically the last part ki how should one decide on कि यार अब ये मिल गया है, तो आई थिंक कुछ भी चालू करने के पहले 2 महीना, 3 महीना, 6 महीना, 1 साल भी हो तो डरना नहीं चाहिए किसी को. रिसर्च करो, लोगों से बात करो, मिलो, कंज्यूमर पर्सोना बनाओ. कंज्यूमर पर्सोना विल गिव यू अ रियल कंज्यूमर व्यू. और अपने कजिन और भाई बहन से मत पूछो, वो झूठ बोलेंगे. वो बोलेंगे अरे क्या क्या वैभव क्या बना दिया है, ऋषिजा क्या प्रोडक्ट बनाया है आपने. तो मतलब आप तो, मुझे बहुत लोगों ने बोला, बहुत कम लोग सच बोलेंगे कि यार भाई ये नहीं चलेगा और ये इसमें ये होगा तो चलेगा. मीट दोस पीपल. बड़ा खराब लगेगा उस समय कि यार कैसे बोल रहा है, 6 महीने से मेहनत कर रहा हूँ और तूने बोल दिया कि मुझे खुशबू पसंद नहीं आई. बट देन दैट इज अ रियल फीडबैक. सो मीट रियल कंज्यूमर. वो 25-50 कंज्यूमर से अगर आप मिल लिए, फॉर एग्जाम्पल जैसे मुझे भी रिसेंट में कोई ऐसे ही आया था, कई लोग मिलने स्टार्टअप्स के लिए आते हैं, तो उसने बोला कि मुझे जिम कि सप्लीमेंट की ब्रांड बनानी है एंड आई हैव अ बिग एग्रेसिव प्लान टू लॉन्च इट और मार्केट से 5 करोड़ रेज कर लेंगे। मैंने भाई कुछ मत कर, तू जिस जिम में जाता है ना, पहले वो जिम के जो 50 लोग हैं उसमें से तू 25 को बेच ले। अगर वो 25 ने खरीद लिया 2 बार 3 बार 4 बार 6 महीने के पीछे रख, मतलब तू जंग जीत गया, तेरे को फंड रेज की जरूरत भी नहीं पड़ेगी। एक बहुत सारा कि आजकल फोमो भी हो गया है कि यार अरे, मतलब मुझे भी था एक टाइम पे कि यही यार फंड रेज हो रहा है और सबको मिल रहे हैं 2-2 करोड़ रुपए, तो मेरी झोली में क्यों नहीं आ रहे हैं, और बहुत तेज ग्रो करना है, लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स। क्योंकि बच्चे होते हैं ना स्टार्टअप के टाइम, तो बड़ा ऐसा लगता है कि यार फिर बड़ी बड़ी कहानियां सुनते हैं कि इसके साथ ऐसा हो गया, इसको तो इतनी वैल्यूएशन मिल गई, तो वो बड़ा डिफोकस हो जाते हैं। सो आई थिंक एक तो गट फील आपकी स्ट्रांग होनी चाहिए, आपकी उस प्रोडक्ट में समझ बनानी चाहिए कि आपको कोई बेवकूफ नहीं बना पाए, और अगर आपको प्रोडक्ट ट्रेड कर रहे हो तो कल आपके पास ट्रेडिंग से मैन्युफैक्चरिंग तक का प्लान होना चाहिए। और फोर्थ, रिसर्च रिसर्च और रिसर्च यही कहनी चाहिए। आपके सारे रिजल्ट्स, आपके प्राइमरी सेकेंडरी पेपर, सैम्पलर, क्वेश्चनियर, फोकस इंटरव्यू, कि आपके जितने क्वेश्चंस हैं वो आपका प्रोडक्ट मार्केट के लिए सही फिट है, उसमें सब कुछ आ गया। प्रोडक्ट, प्लेस, प्राइस, प्रमोशन, पीपल, प्रेजेंटेशन, सब कुछ पूरा फ्रेमवर्क आ गया। जो 4P कहते हैं, मैं 7P बना दिया मैंने उसको, कि इट्स मोर कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव नाउ। और
Understood.
सो आई थिंक अगर ये सब चीजें सही हैं तो फिर शायद चांसेस ऑफ फेलियर विल रिड्यूस।
Okay. What about you, Vaibhav? I think Mohit's approach was really like a very student-like approach and taking references from his MBA classes in London, that he really went back to the drawing board, if you will, like really going after presentations, focus research, questionnaires, and sample surveys, like he mentioned. How about you? How did, like, for instance, you mentioned that Shrija, in the aftermath of COVID, you decided upon embarking on this. So, how did you strike at that product market fit? And Ayurveda is a, I must say that it's pretty like, it's a space which is not really vacant. It's taken by quite a few people also. Yeah.
It's highly competitive, and post COVID a lot of players entered into the space. So first of all, सबसे पहले Shrija, I would like to point out कि what is PMF we should understand, and then let's go back. So PMF is जब लोग बागों को when people are searching up something and they find it and they realize कि हाँ, I should buy it, and that should happen organically. If you have an influencer, if you have a paid promotion and still people are buying it, you should not be happy, because उस समय you are burning a lot. When your burn rate and your customer retentions metrics are cross referenced, and you realize that even if you are not burning enough, and if you still get the enough number of orders, because performance marketing is like a tap, you open it, the what supply would come in, and that's a great algorithm work that Google and Meta does. And what happens in this is where the lot of new founders fall prey. They think we'll put up some money, we'll create a website, put up a money, and do a burn budget, raise funds, and then the sales will come in. But it is actually, these are not the right figures, these are not the right consumers, and you end up losing a lot of money, and Metas and Googles end up earning a lot of money out of that. So when we started, obviously COVID second phase when we started, and unlike Mohit, we also started a lot of consumer surveys. So I personally used to sit on doctors' OPDs, and I'd sat in more than 15 doctors where I've personally interacted more than 5,000 patients. And in last 1 year, and we are still discovering, because Ayurveda, when we talk in AayushBharat, we talk about the entire range. So we need to have a large data set. So in last 1 year, we interviewed more than 100,000 people who've ordered from us or who have interacted or landed on our websites. And trust me, till date, we have not spent a single penny on the performance marketing part. We are purely organic and referral and customer outreach program based company, and that's what we wanted to be. But obviously, for scaling up, there is a need of for performance marketing. But even when you do a performance marketing, before that, a very important part is establishing yourself, establishing your brand persona or something. So when I was studying in US, I did my master's in engineering management, and new ventures was my core area where I worked upon. So back then there was a lot of surveys and all, and I realized again, like just like Mohit ki yaar ye sab kyun ho raha hai. But when we started this brand AayushBharat, before that I had a family background of family business. So वहाँ सब set था. We don't have to do market surveys. We have to we know who are the customers, and we just have to operate efficiently and scale it up. But then when we started doing Ayush Bharat, we realized that it's very important to know what people are looking for. So it's very important for any new founder who want to start now. They should immediately go out in the market, do the primary research first, and then do the secondary on Google's and all. Be where your customers are. Talk to as many as possible, and on the basis of that, record the data and analyze it. And then if you know what you're offering already, if it's a t-shirt brand and you know that you're launching a t-shirt which is like waterproof, where stains don't stay or anything. If you know your product positioning, then take your product and interact with the customers and get the feelers. If you are in a space where there is a wider range of product, then identify what are the low hanging fruits, what are the higher margins, and also there is a lot of research and work that you should be doing when you're starting up. And while you're doing it, you should also define your brand's core style statement, or brand's core ethos, how you're going to present yourself. Because
Yeah.
when you start your tab of performance marketing and people come onto your page or your website, and if they don't relate what you've mentioned, the orders are not going to come, and you're again going to be burning a lot of money. So there
Yeah.
is a lot of brainstorming that one should do before going out.
So,
Thanks
Vaibhav,
for that,
I'll
Vaibhav.
just question here if
Yeah.
Shreya, I can ask. So, Vaibhav, you mentioned that you don't spend in performance marketing, correct? Which is quite strange to know in this era where people are struggling to get traffic, okay, on the website and drive more and more sales on. And I think you are a platform, right? You are trying to create a platform where you will sell multiple brand Ayurvedic products on one platform, right?
Great. So yeah, so we started with one, and then we eventually made it like a marketplace where one of our own range is also there, and we also sell the other brand products as well.
Acha, but
So
you
there are
started with your own range
the
and then
idea
added
was
other.
the idea was to start with our own range, but
Uh,
then we realized it's not that people will go and take this product, and we should know whoever is buying someone else's Shilajit should also buy our Shilajit. So
correct.
to have a better idea, and anyways, being a marketplace, it gives us a leverage to understand the customer more deeply. So yeah, so from D2C we went for a marketplace, and now
Okay.
we are again focusing more on the product side.
Right. Okay. But then how, like, what are the sources that you get traffic on your page?
See, the best is since we speak with a lot of doctors,
Okay.
and we take a lot of referrals from these doctors and Ayurveda stores as well.
Okay.
So doctors, because this in our industry, the hero is doctors, or maybe therapists or people who are the experts. So we partner with them and we work with them. And then now since we've worked, so we are direct associated with Badnath and a couple of other small and large companies, like some companies who are like Sadhana Ayurveda. Even your company, I remember was in our list when we were searching out for companies who have been doing business for more than 100 years. So Shrija, there are brands who are operating for 150 years, 200 years in this space, and you don't know, and nobody
True.
knows.
True.
Discovery was a big problem, and they operate very locally. So last month we onboarded a brand from Goa. They are
Mm-hmm.
a 150-year-old company, and they have an expertise of of a few of a few products, but they don't sell outside Maharashtra.
So
So
you're
which is where,
fostering a marketplace for Ayurvedic product besides having the product of your own. So you're
yeah,
basically getting to get the knowledge base that okay, how is the market performing, and also selling and also saying that listen, I also have my private label product. You should also have that. It's pretty
that's
much
how.
yeah, it's pretty much the Amazon way, right? Or the Flipkart way, where you have the marketplace and they also have their own private label products. Mohit, I also want to understand from you and Vaibhav, very interesting what both of you are doing. Very different strategies, though, I must say, in the direct to consumer space. Uh, Mohit is more focused on the product side, building his own brand. Vaibhav is trying to revolutionize the market, building a marketplace model. Give me a sense of the numbers like. How are the numbers like? And then we can sort of discuss more about the burn rate, for instance, which is really the biggest metric for direct to consumer companies. And I would really like to understand more of that. So, Mohit, how is the revenue now? And if you could give me that hockey stick that really happened in every entrepreneur's life, there's one point where everything you look back and things start sort of falling in place. It could be any number. For some people, it's like 10 crore mark. For some people, it's like 100 crore mark. But then you look back and say, okay, now the hockey stick has been passed, right? So for you, what was that click moment? If I were to ask you, what was that click moment for you? And then the same question for you, Vaibhav. Yeah.
Okay, so maybe I have to answer this with bit sugar and some coating, which because like we're in a couple of mandates right now where I cannot talk exact numbers, but I'll just give you a brief background. So overall business size, clubbing entire organization, you can say is kind of a 200 crore kind of a business. And this like closing March has been highest for the monthly revenue and like ever for the last company. Like we are a decade old company now.
Congratulations.
And thank you so much. And retail, just a baby. Retail is just 2.5, 3 years old. And we have grown retail almost 15, 20x in 2 years of time. So from, I would say, uh, like one shop in shop to almost 10 flagship stores and 70 shop in shops, it has grown. And in terms of what else I can say numbers. So because I can't go
Tell
more
us a
deep.
little, tell us a little about the margins,
Yeah.
like the margins.
Margins, yeah, margin. Everyone knows retail has a massive margin. Retail is like no one can survive less than a 60-70% gross margin. So it's same for everyone. For us, it's good because we manufacture for ourselves. We all the products you see on the site are 100% made at our plant. Our own in-house scientists, our own designers, our own studio, our own packaging design. Everything you see is we have no agency for all this stuff. Everything from research to production to all of our own automatic bottle tube lines to compounding, fragrance research, everything is in-house. So for us, indirect costs are comparatively higher, but
Hmm.
then make on our own. So uh, slightly in a better position as compared to people who trade these products through some
Yeah.
contract. Yeah.
And tell me a little about the fundraising mandate. So this fundraising comes in now. So you've taken like a decade to decide, okay, now you'll be open to external fundraise. Is it like an inbound interest you are getting? You're being wooed by the VC, or is it the other way? Or do you
So
really need capital? Is the question.
So already I have two partners. In the B2B company, we already have Hunter as our partner, who is a Canadian investor. But the best part, we were lucky in both the cases where we got strategic so that as compared to PE, where God forbid if things go wrong, then they put a caution on you and they are behind you. कि मुझे क्योंकि why इसलिए रहा है कि उसको बाहर जाना है, correct? And in case of strategic, they are here to support you. So when
Yeah.
COVID came and my 90% of revenue come from hotels and hotels were shut, it's again a 1 hour story which I can talk about, but I'll skip that. So our partners supported us that okay, it's for us, it's for you, it's for everyone. The world will stop. What to do now? चलो सैनिटाइजर बनाते हैं तो 4 महीने में सैनिटाइजर बनाया जनरल ट्रेड मॉडर्न ट्रेड सब कुछ करके सर्वाइव किया बट एंड इन माय रिटेल कंपनी आल्सो वी हैव अ पार्टनर कॉल्ड Boat. There is a company who makes headphone, so they
Yeah.
are my partners in retail company. So so वहाँ भी it's more of a strategic kind of relationship. So दोनों cases में है, but then again this raise or this round is mainly because a lot of inbound is coming because पहले होता था ना कि मैन्युफैक्चरिंग में किसी को सब मैं बोलता था मैन्युफैक्चरिंग फंड रेज करना है तो लोग बोलते थे क्या बात कर रहे हो हमको समझ में नहीं आ रही है रिटेल करो पैसा चलाओ बड़ा बनाओ अब all those people are coming back कि बस वो क्या बताया था आपने मैन्युफैक्चरिंग
सस्टेनेबल क्या कह रहे थे?
सबको प्रॉफिट चाहिए सबको स्केल चाहिए सबको अब किसी को टॉप लाइन नहीं चाहिए सबको बॉटम लाइन चाहिए तो पूरा
The tables have turned. Clearly, the tables
पूरा
have.
2 साल में कहानी बदल गया मतलब जो मैं समझाता रहा चिल्ला चिल्ला के कि भाई कोई तो कर दो यार जब हंटर आया उसके पहले खूब मैं लोगों से मिलता था कि भाई पैसे दे दो यार अरे नहीं, ये क्या कर रहे हो आप, बर्बादी ये समय की। आप तो ऐसा मॉडल लाओ, 1,000 करोड़ टॉप लाइन करो और चलाओ। प्रॉफिट की बात ही नहीं करनी हमको, आप तो स्केल करो, फिर देखेंगे प्रॉफिट। अब सब
I think you are 200 crore now, so I think in next 3 years you can easily become 1,000 crore company, right? And now you have strategic partnership on table. Do you foresee that? Is that what the AOP looks like?
नॉट 1,000, बट अगेन कि मैं खुद भी सीखा हूं ना। मैं ये मुझसे आप ये 1 साल पहले पूछते तो मैं 2,000 बोलता आपको, बट
Hmm.
अब थोड़ी दुनिया में भी सीख गया हूँ कि यार किसके लिए, मतलब फॉर होम, किसको दिखाने के लिए 1,000 करना है। अल्टीमेटली व्हाट मैटर्स इज
Bottom
घर
line.
कितने। करेक्ट।
Signs of maturing of a founder. It's all coming out now. The signs of
1,000 करके 2%, 5% में भी यहाँ तक पानी भरा हुआ है, और फिर 1,000 पे भी सोच रहे हो कि प्रॉफिट कैसे कमाएंगे, तो नहीं हो पाएगा। मतलब मुझसे तो नहीं हो पाएगा। तो मुझे लगता है कि यार 100 पे भी प्रॉफिट करो, 200 पे भी करो, 300 पे भी करो, ठीक है ना। 1,000 किसकी आत्मा की शांति के लिए 1,000, कहीं लिखा के तो लाइन नहीं थी कि 1,000 करेंगे। सो और आपको लगता है आप कर सकते हो, किसी का बिजनेस अलाउ करता हो कि यार वो 2,000 1,000 पे तक भी प्रॉफिटेबल ही है, 1,000 के बाद भी प्रॉफिटेबल ही है, तो बहुत अच्छी बात है यार। कांग्रेचुलेशन, मतलब हमारे लिए भी सीखने वाली बात है कि वो कैसे हो सकता है।